Bam. Bam. My peoples. My peoples. First of all, happy Monday. Beautiful day. Beautiful start of the week. What an amazing weekend of boxing, my peoples. Whoa. Whoa. Um, Friday, it all kicked off on Friday. All kicked off on Friday. Wow. The ladies showed out. Jake Paul put together a historic event. We have to say that. It was action-packed night of boxing, capped off by the trilogy between Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. Now, the four I personally watched, not personally, on TV, the four fights that were televised. Today, I'm going to take some time to check out the preliminaries because they were all very good fights. But I'll be focusing on the four cards that were televised. Whoa. All of the women showed out, my peoples. And we got to talk about it. Women's boxing is on fire right now. And Jake Paul is a major player in women's boxing. And then Saturday, I was wondering, and I spoke about it, what's going to happen with these four fights? The women showed out. We saw them perform at the highest level, and all of the fights were action-packed. Will the men live up to that type of action that the women put out? And the men did not disappoint, my peoples. The first fight, they went to war. The second fight, they went to war. The third fight, Shakur Stevenson left the haters in shambles. The fourth fight, Berlanga, he kept it real, but Shiraz kept it realer. And yeah, I saw the way the cookie crumbled in that fight as well. So, just a crazy weekend of boxing, my people. We got to talk about it. Yo, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I'm your host, Jay Smith. This is where you're going to get a healthy dosage of sweet science. Early in the morning. Nice and tasty. Like I said, my peoples, this weekend, Friday, was off the charts. The notion that women's boxing is boring, or that you don't watch women's boxing because it's not all that, it's not exciting. That's not it. That ain't it, my peoples. I don't want to hear it. To me, it's hilarious when people say, nah, I don't watch women's boxing because it's boring. I don't really like it. My peoples, if you tuned in on Friday, you saw that women's boxing is at the highest level. We saw it all. So, all I say is, if you enjoy the sweet science, do not miss out on women's boxing, my peoples. Don't miss out. Because we saw it. We watched these four televised fights, and they went at it. They all went at it. So, before I get to the men, I want to show some love to the women. Okay, my peoples, gotta do it, because the women showed out. There's no other way to say it. They showed out. They really did. Jake Paul, the way he put it together, all these fights, an all-female card, the production, the way, everything, the optics. Nah, you could see that you was witnessing a historic event. And I'm telling you, sometimes an event like this could be hyped up so much that people end up disappointed. Like, it wasn't all that. Like they've been talking about this all women's card and how it's going to be fire. They've been promoting it hard. And, was it going to live up to the expectations? Well, it did. Jake Paul, I think, showed us that he's a major player in women's boxing. That's just the reality, my people. Um, when it comes to his career as a fighter, a lot of people don't respect Jake Paul, and I understand why. And I see him as a good fighter who's never gonna reach, that level where he wants. It's just not gonna happen. Or maybe he knows already. But the women, my peoples, they really did show out. You know, it's like putting hands on each other. The fights were super competitive. Um, like I said, man, I want to talk about some of the women's fights before I get to the men's because the women deserve to get that love, my people. The women showed out. The fights, whoever tuned in on Friday, just let me know your thoughts, man. Those four televised fights was just incredible. And I wanna, touch touch up on each one of those four fights because, like I said, my people, they was action packed. There was no time in an all women's card where you was like, okay, this fight is boring, or I don't really want to watch this, or no, 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 my people. The fights were all anybody who's on here. If you watch on Friday, women's boxing, share your take, man. The women, they did their thing. Simple as that. They was amazing. So let's talk about the four fights that were televised, my people. Right? First, the first one that was televised, Scotney versus Mercado. My peoples. Scotney versus Mercado was an incredible showdown from the first round. They started landing bombs right away. I was able to tell that Scotney was a little bit technically sharper. Hold on one second. I could tell that Scotney was a little bit sharper, but Mercado was letting her hands go, going forward. That relentless pressure. So she kept landing her own big shots too. But, and I'm talking about, look, I want you to see who I'm talking about, my people. Like I said, women's boxing is on fire. Box Center, Jay Smith, I support women's boxing, and I want to show them some love. So we are going to be talking about yesterday's fights. Shakur Stevenson, Berlanga, and Shiraz, Buello, all them fights, we're going to talk about it. But right now, we're showing some love to the women, my people. First off, the four televised fights for the females. This was the first one. Scotney versus Mercado. My peoples, if you watch this fight, give me your opinion. They went at it, like I said, from the first bell. Yes, Scotney was technically sharper and did land the cleaner punches and was landing more often. But Mercado never gave in. She ate some big shots and still kept coming forward, still kept punching, still made it a fight. So this was a great fight. I'm pretty sure everybody who tuned in, whether they did on TV or people who was in person, enjoyed this fight. Shout out to Scotney. Shout out to Mercado. That was the first fight in the women's card, right? The second fight, Savannah Marsh. Oh, by the way, in the first fight, Scotney won. And it was the right decision. She outboxed Mercado. Mercado was very competitive, but she was outboxed. So Scotney, congratulations to Scotney for the W. Congratulations to Mercado for putting together a fight, making it a fight, making it competitive. Let's move on to the next one, my peoples. Savannah Marshall versus Shadeja Green. Again, just like the first fight, they went to war, landing bombs on each other. They went back and forth. This is the type of fight that you really didn't know who was gonna win. It was like, damn, is this gonna be a draw? Is it gonna be a split decision? What's gonna happen? It was a really, really close fight. I felt Savannah Marshall edged it out, but Shadeja Green walked out of there with a W. So congratulations to both women. Savannah Marshall You know, she fought well. She did a good job. I felt, like I said, I felt she edged it out. Shadeja Green was in her face too, was very aggressive, applying that pressure, landing big shots. So I'm not calling this a robbery at all. It was a very close fight, a lot of swing rounds. So Shadeja Green is a world champion. She walked out of there with a dub. Fight number 3, my peoples. Yo, Alicia Baumgartner versus Jennifer Miranda. Oh man, that's the first real controversy of Friday. Bill, what do you call? Let me tell you what you call it. Raw dog. You see Morrell get a gift? We gotta talk about that. We're gonna get to the men's, my brother. We're gonna get to the men. But let's get to the women, because talking about gift, did you see Alicia Baumgartner versus Jennifer Miranda? They went at it. The fight went the distance. Miranda put so many hands on Alicia Baumgartner. All types of hands. When that last bell rang, you saw her celebrating, and you saw Alicia Baumgartner kind of down, like in her corner. You didn't see anybody celebrating. Everybody was like, ooh. And in Miranda's side, you could see the upbeat. Like, yeah, we got this. They gave the fight to Alicia Baumgartner. So I felt Jennifer won this fight. Like I said before, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Alicia Baumgartner walks out of there with a W, retains her titles. Congratulations to both women once again. This, like I said, man, the women, all of them went to war. Congratulations to both women. They both put together a heck of a performance, and both of them had their moments, and that's the way it goes. Alicia Baumgartner remains the champion. Salute. And of course, the main event, Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. So this was the trilogy fight. I'm going to say something about this fight that nobody's saying. And I'm going to be honest, I'll be the first to say it, because I have to. Y'all know I always keep it 100. When you have a trilogy fight, there's always a certain level of expectations because of what has already happened in the first two. There's a reason why you make a trilogy, right? If you look at, for example, Dmitry Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev, the way that they fought each other, the way that they went to war those 2 times. So we have expectations for what that third fight is going to look like, right? Well, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, that third fight, honestly, I was a little bit disappointed. It was a good fight. It was competitive. Katie Taylor made it a very clear victory. This time there was no ifs, ands, or buts. But again, it was a good fight, not a great fight. So I don't think we got what we were expecting. It was a little bit of a letdown, but it was such a great night of boxing for the women that I don't think people want to acknowledge that. Because, high viewership, the women are making good money. And it was just, lots of winners from the MVP team. So I know they're celebrating that. But again, the fight didn't really live up to the hype. Okay. Now, overall, I have to say, it was a historic night of boxing. Very entertaining. The women showed out. And we saw fireworks. We saw it. So, great night of boxing Friday night. Salute to Jake Paul. Salute to MVP. They did it. They made it a special night for women's boxing and just for boxing overall. So I repeat, my peoples, don't be the person walking around talking about, I don't watch women's boxing. Nah, it's boring. It's boring. That ain't it, my peoples. Women boxing is on fire. Let's support. Let's show love to the women. Before we move on to Friday, because now we're going to talk about men's boxing. Now we're going to talk about what we saw yesterday. before yesterday, before we get to that, let me check out the comments, my peoples. John Caravaggio, good morning, brother. What we talking about today? We talking about these cards, man. Women's boxing, it was special on Friday. And we're about to get to men's boxing, which took place on Saturday. Was also insane. We talk, yo, this weekend, if you don't realize how crazy this weekend was, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. Raw dog, Serrano wasn't accurate enough. Her 1-2 was missing because she didn't know distance or feel comfortable. So here's what I'm going to say to that, Raw dog. There was a lot of times where Amanda Serrano threw punches that were not meant to land. She was way too far. They would be mad far and she would go. So she almost at times, Amanda Serrano looked like an amateur. At times she looked like an amateur, like doing all this from far, like you're not gonna hit and you're wasting mad energy with that. But here's what I think, and I could be wrong about it. If you recall in the last fight, she took a nasty headbutt, no. She took a bunch of headbutts, but one of them resulted in a nasty gash. So what it looks like to me when she was doing all that is like she was trying to maintain her distance. Like she wanted to make sure that Katie Taylor was not going to be able to headbutt her. But I said it before the fight. Amanda Serrano cannot fight like she's focusing on the headbutt. She cannot fight like, I got to make sure she doesn't headbutt me. She got to fight her fight, do what she normally does. And this time around, she got outworked. She got outlanded. And that's just the way it played out. Katie Taylor was the clear winner. There's no arguing, no getting around it anymore. That's it. There's the trilogy. John Caravaggio, I think Serrano looked slow and her game plan was bad. Amanda Serrano kind of threw her corner under the bus. If you remember, at the end of the fight, when they asked her, what were you thinking? She said, I was doing what my corner was telling me. Suggesting that that's what they told her to do. But I don't think they were telling her to, stay far going like this. That was on her. I think she's going to watch the tape and regret, a lot of punches that she didn't throw. John Caravaggio, the landscape of boxing has changed. The two biggest promoters in boxing are Jake Paul and Turkey. Well, in women's boxing, I think Jake Paul is already that guy. I think he is. John Caravaggio, you heard it right. Yup, she sure did. Make her breakfast time. Y'all already know it, my peoples. Welcome to Boxing for Breakfast, where you're going to get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning, my peoples. We were showing love to women's boxing. Salute to the ladies who showed out on Friday. Let's talk about men's boxing, my peoples. And hit that like button, because I'm going to drop some fire on thee, upon thee. Let's kick off, my people, with David Morrell and Katayev. What a fight. Unfortunately, let me give y'all the play-by-play real quick, right? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch Morrell versus Katayev live because I was having technical difficulties with tuning into the fight from my TV. Luckily for me, the Box Center family joined in. We started looking around and unlaced the unofficial Box Center internet streaming fights illegally technician helped me out to find the fight, and we tuned in. And I was able to call him after the David Morrell fight. So I didn't watch David Morrell versus Katayev live, but I got to watch a lot of the highlights, a lot of the video that's out there. They went to war, my peoples. Some of the things I heard was that Morrell underestimated Katayev. I don't think so, simply because based on the footage that I seen, I already knew Katayev could fight. could, got power. It's a pressure fighter. I knew that he's gonna want to trade leather, and I think Morel was gonna be ready for that. It's just Kataev is that good. Was that good? They went to war before the winner was announced. I had a lot of people saying that Kataev won. As a matter of fact, somebody in the chat earlier said that Morel was gifted a decision. Controversial decision right there, but David Morel walks out with the W. Congratulations to Kataev. Congratulations to David Morel. They started off the televised 4 fights with a bang. Because y'all know they went to war. We saw fireworks. The second fight. So we talking about controversy for the first fight, right? But let's go to the next fight, my peoples. Come on, man. How about this controversy? John Caraballo, the commentating was terrible in that fight. You should have tuned into my commentary. I gave you the fire. The second fight, my peoples. Alberto Puello versus Subriel Matias. If you watched it and you've tuned in to the last few episodes of Boxing for Breakfast, the fight played out exactly the way that I told you guys that it would. I said, okay, the classic case of the boxer, the puncher. Subriel Matias is going to come forward, pretty straightforward, trying to slip some punches, eating some of those, and we're going to see Alberto Puello using the footwork, using the angles, being awkward, clinching. That's exactly what we saw. I honestly, when the fight was over, I felt like Alberto Puello won. I felt Subriel was aggressive. He went forward throughout the entire fight, but he missed a lot of punches too. Alberto Puello countered him effectively a lot of times. And I don't know, I just felt like he won the fight. But it was close enough to where it happens. If a fight is close, it could go either way. It went in favor of Subriel Matias. Congratulations to Alberto Puello. He fought good. His stock did not go down after that L. A lot of people felt like he won that fight. And congratulations to Subriel Matias. Subriel Matias. He becomes the world champion once again. There you have it, my peoples. That was fight number 2. They went to war. So you see that trend going on Saturday. The first fight, they went to war. The second fight, they also did it. Great Saturday of boxing thus far. Ooh, let's get to the third fight. Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. Let's get to the third fight. A lot of people need to get roasted this morning. A lot of people need to get cooked. William Zepeda, Shakur Stevenson. Where's all the people who said Shakur Stevenson was going to run all night? We got to talk about that. Maker, when they announced Subriel as the winner, you can see on his face that he knew he didn't deserve it. Bro, I want you to think about this. When they were there with the ref waiting for the winner to be announced, just look at Subriel's face. And he's like, just waiting like, damn, B, I'm cooked. He couldn't believe it. But that's the way that it happens. The real Bando Kev, you're a great Melbourne. A great Melbourne. I don't know what that is. John Caraballo. Some people say that was Matias' last chance. I mean, listen, Subriel Matias needed that win badly. Needed it. And he got it. There you go. He's a world champion. Raw dog. I favor the fighter pushing the action, especially when I see the opponent clinching. I got you, bro. But clinching is part of boxing. As fans, we could favor that, but that's not something that the judges will deduct points for. Clinching is actually part of a strategy that, if you're a savvy fighter, you can use. But I respect the decision. It was a close enough fight where it could have gone either way. But my people, let's talk about Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda, my peoples. Come on now. Let's talk about Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda. John Parham, can we get the likes up? Salute, my brother. I appreciate that. John Caraballo, they have to win to make money. So Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda, I think that was probably... Look how interesting Saturday was. The first fight, controversial finish. The second fight, controversial finish. Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda left the haters in shambles, my peoples. Shakur Stevenson haters been in shambles since that fight. What can y'all tell me about that whole situation? I had so many people telling me about how Shakur Stevenson was going to be running all night long. What happened? What happened, my peoples? Come on, man. Come on, man. I need to know. I need answers. Where's all the people who said that Shakur Stevenson was going to be running all night long? I want to see them. Because there was an episode of Boxing for Breakfast yesterday morning. And apparently everybody that told me that William Zepeda was going to smoke Shakur, they didn't show up. And I told y'all, I don't want to hear that your internet went down, your dog get your phone charger, you had a headache so you couldn't tune in. I don't want to hear it, my peoples. Now you have to hear it. John Parham, I don't see Shakur continuing to fight like that. I think he just did it to prove a point. You know, I think we are gonna see more of that because we saw that against Oscar Valdez. We saw that against Jamel Herring. We've seen that before. The thing is that people, when they don't like a fighter, they have amnesia with those type of performances. Oh, I don't remember. They only remember Shakur Stevenson versus De Los Santos, versus Edwin De Los Santos. That's all they remember. But Shakur has done this before. He has fought Floyd Mayweather-like before. We've seen it. We're going to act like we're surprised. Like, oh my God, this is the first time he does this. No. This ain't the first time he does this. We're not supposed to be surprised. He been doing that. So I ask the Shakur Stevenson haters, is it time to give him his flowers? I already had. Listen, think about this, my peoples. Yesterday, somebody told me in the morning, in the morning live, somebody told me, William Zepeda is going to knock him out. He's going to knock Subriel Matias. He's going to knock Shakur Stevenson out. I was like, you tripping, bro. You wilding out. All right? Cool. At nighttime, y'all see the way the fight plays out. Shakur Stevenson put together a masterful performance. Finally, Buddy jumps on the live. And I'm like, fam wham. What happened? What happened, dog? What's going on? You know what was his response? Nah, because in reality, William Zepeda, he kind of small. And he don't really hit that hard anyways. Y'all tell me, what do you say to that? How you got William Zepeda knocking Shakur out in the morning, and then the nighttime, nah, he weak. He weak. He ain't got power anyways. Raw dog. I had it 8 for Shakur. Zepeda did well early and touched the body. Shakur weathered the pressure and countered to get the W. Okay, fair enough. John Parham. I thought what I liked the most about this fight is that Shakur got clipped. He got caught with a pretty hard shot in the second round, got wobbled, kept his composure, and went back to work, back to staying with the game plan. And you saw the results. So the people who say Shakur can't take a shot, damn, bro. A guy with 25 knockouts caught him flush in the chin and didn't drop him. Now where's the people who say Shakur can't take a shot? Now where's the people that say Shakur can only win by running? Come on, man. John Parham, Jay Spiff, they will be back up with new profiles. They will. They will. That's cool. Make up a new profile, come back, and And don't say no more corny shit. Armando Rosado. Shakur fought like that against Oscar Valdez. That's him. I said it. Did it to Valdez. Did it to Jamel Herring too. We've been doing it. John Caraballo. Shakur is the best Puerto Rican fighter of this era. Yup. We claiming him. Oh yeah, papi. John Parham. If you didn't... Hold on, man. Because y'all know, listen. I'm going to tell you like this, bro. You guys probably know, some of you know that Shakur, he be checking out a lot of my videos, a lot of my stories. And I'm going to read that. There's a good possibility that he's going to see it. It's a good... Oh, matter of fact, did you see Shakur, by the way, talking in Spanish? Telling Zepeda, cállate, cállate. Let him know. So, if y'all didn't see it, if y'all missed it, Shakur was letting Zepeda know, cállate, cállate. John Caraballo, Shakur is the best Puerto Rican fighter of this era. Yup, we claiming him. I already gave him a nickname. Shakur the Puerto Rican Papi Stevenson. There you have it right there. John Parham, if you didn't see it going 12, you don't know boxing. John Parham, crazy work. Excuses. I'm trying to tell you, my G. They went from saying William Zepeda's going to knock Shakur Stevenson out to now they're going to discredit him. That is some real nasty work, yo. You're going to discredit the guy? Now Zepeda ain't know that? That's nasty work, bro. Armando Rosado, Joe, man, in boxing, you only as good as your worst fight. That's how boxing fans are. John Parham, Shakur said he didn't get stunned at all. He said he just got caught stepping backward. I mean, I actually said that yesterday, that his feet were squared up, but he did eat a pretty big shot. And look, didn't fall, didn't drop. Matter of fact, he ate a few good punches. You see it in his face. He ate some good ones. So now you're aware of the fact that Shakur has that level of versatility where he can outbox you and make it look easy, or he can fight you right there inside of a phone booth, and still dominate you. Raw dog, I saw Shakur hurt to the body and push through. Listen, he fought a William Zepeda who's an undefeated fighter who can fight. Not just a guy who can fight. A guy who is relentless as far as applying pressure, letting his hands go. Zepeda's a fighter who, even while you punching him in the face, he's still letting his hands go, punching back. Tough opponent to beat. And look what Shakur was able to do. So I'm just wondering, all the people who said that Shakur's a hype job and Zepeda's going to expose him, are they going to finally give Shakur credit? And look, this is the funny thing about haters. A hater just can't bring themselves to give credit where credit is due. I see people saying, well, he won. It was a good fight, but he didn't stop him. He could have knocked him out. Zepeda, he not all that. Like, people would rather discredit Zepeda than say, yo, Shakur is the truth. Anybody who is watching, the fights and being honest understands what Shakur did. You have to be honest and understand, golly, this kid is special. I might not like him personally for whatever reason, but he's special inside that ring. There's no getting around that. Armando Rosado, I just don't think Shakur should be calling out Tank. He doesn't need his career to be around Tank. He's starting to look like Benavidez calling out Canelo. No, you see, it's all about perspective. I disagree with you 100%. I say he got to keep his foot in Tank neck. Keep that pressure on. Why? Because the fans want that fight. Like, you see how you mentioning Benavidez? But guess what? As long as Canelo fight, his name is gonna be tangled with David Benavidez. Till this day, that name comes up. In interviews, they ask him about it. So as long as people keep applying that pressure, you're never gonna be able to get away from that name. Tank Davis is never gonna be able to get away from people wanting him to fight Shakur. Ever. Well, he retires. Once he retires, that's it. Now you finally avoided having to fight Shakur. It's done. As long as he step in the ring, my G, people gonna ask for that. So my peoples, again, Aunt Teasy, bro, it's too early for boxing. Go back to sleep. All right, I'm gonna send you to sleep. Hold this. So he could go back to sleep. So, so, like I said, man, look, Shakur Stevenson, that performance that we saw yesterday, there's the reason why Tank Davis don't want to fight him. You saw it right there. You didn't know why Tank Davis don't want to fight Shakur? You saw it. We seen it right there. We seen it, my people. Tank Davis knows if he fights Shakur Stevenson, he's going to get Zepeda too. And he don't want it. He don't want it. It's as simple as that. I just tell you what it is, my peoples. You do with it what you will. That's all I can say about that. But the way that the fight played out, it was very interesting to see that version of Shakur Stevenson. Like I said before, my people, look, I was not surprised at all. I've seen Shakur Stevenson do that same thing to multiple fighters. We're going to act like this is new. We're going to act like, oh my God, he's done that. He's done it before. So let's see what's next for Shakur Stevenson. My perception is that Tank is going to continue to duck him, especially after this fight. He don't want to get Zepeda, so he's going to continue to duck. Let's see what's next for Shakur. He's going to continue to win. He's going to grab more titles, make more history. Let's see who's next to get Zepeda. Entertainment site. You think Ben will fight Rolly after Eubank 2? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're even going to be in the same division. Let's see how far down Conor Ben is going to go. John Parham, I still got Tank beating Shakur if he gets his together. Liam, suck, Jay. What's the deal, Liam? I mean, look, honestly, I think that Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson is not going to happen because Tank doesn't want it to happen. It's not going to happen. But we saw Shakur Stevenson show out. We saw him prove the haters wrong. Shut the haters down, my peoples. Do you realize? Think about this. Think about the first 15, 16 episodes of Boxing for Breakfast, right? For those of you who have tuned in from the beginning. How many people were in this chat talking about Zepeda was going to beat him? Zepeda was going to knock him out. Shakur was not going to be able to handle the pressure. Shakur's hands are too brittle. How many people? Ever since the fight, I haven't heard from any of them, bro. I haven't heard from any of them. Where they at? I don't know. That's the effect of Shakur Stevenson. Raw Dog, Shakur was a minus 1,200 favorite. He needs an opponent that has a better chance against him at some point. Raw Dog, I'm guessing that you said Zepeda was going to win based on that comment. Shakur is a heavy favorite because he's a special fighter. He's a great fighter. That's why. He's gonna be a heavy favorite. You want somebody that's not a heavy favorite, you gotta get Tank Davis. And Tank Davis is scared to death. Tank Davis is scared to death of losing that L to Shakur. How are we gonna get somebody with better odds? If the people who can have better odds don't want to fight him. They all know they're going to lose. Not a lot he could do about that, my guy. Armando Rosado, Shakur Brand is at a point where Tank is going to need better than Tank. There's too many good fighters in 135 to be counting on Tank. Schofield, Abdullah, Massive, Roach, Higgins. There's too many. No, listen. Abdullah Mason, Floyd Schofield. There's a bunch of good fighters in the division. But again, we know who the big dog is. And you know what's funny about this energy that you guys are giving Shakur? Why when Benavidez was calling out Canelo, y'all didn't do the same thing? Yo, stop calling out Canelo, man. Stop focusing on Canelo. Don't you know that there's more people out there? There's this guy, there's that guy. You can fight this guy too. You can fight. Now, that energy for Shakur. Oh, go after some. It's like Tank Davis fans are the only people that don't want Tank to fight Shakur. I don't understand, y'all. I don't understand it. Because as a boxing fan, I want my favorite fighters to fight the best, so I could see them display their talent. So I just don't understand why is it that Tank Davis fans don't want Tank to fight Shakur. It's like they always seem to have a reason why they shouldn't fight. Oh, well, Shakur should fight somebody else. Oh, well, Tank don't really need Shakur. Oh, well, you know, like, huh? The whole world is saying, yo, Tank and Shakur is the biggest fight in boxing. Tank and Shakur need to fight each other. It's the whole world and Tank Davis fans talking about, Shakur, fight somebody else. Tank, let him do him. Go fight Jake Paul. We're gonna celebrate that too. What's going on, my peoples? I don't understand. I don't understand that mindset. I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, why every time a top level fighter performs at a high level and shows out, we're looking for ways to still hate on them, still not give flowers? Why? I don't understand it. At what point can you say, yeah, he's the truth, he can fight, he's special? Instead of saying that, no, Zepeda's too little, and Zepeda don't hit hard enough, and what really happened? Like, what? Are we really looking at the fighter and understanding the performance that he put together versus an undefeated, highly ranked opponent? Are we really not understanding what Shakur did? It's that we don't want to understand it. That's crazy work, my peoples. That is crazy work. Come on now. All these angles to not give credit. Come on, man. Come on. Really? Like, look, Raw Dog, look what you're saying. Look at your stance, Raw Dog, right? Your stance is that Shakur was a favorite and Zepeda had no chance, according to you, and the odds. That's it. That's what you got to say about Shakur. So you're a fan, but all you got to say is that Zepeda was, man, he ain't all that. You're not a fan. You're a Shakur Stevenson hater. You're an in the classic hater. The usual, I'ma say a bunch of negative shit, but then I'ma say I'm a fan too. Nah, bro. You're a hater. You definitely a hater. Shakur Stevenson fans is not posting on social media or talking on social media like, yeah, Zepeda really didn't have a chance. That wasn't that much of a win. Shakur Stevenson fans ain't doing that. You definitely ain't no Shakur Stevenson fan, my G. Stop. You a Tank Davis fan, and that's a Tank Davis point of view that you got on Shakur Stevenson's performance. That's what's going on. Come on now. John Parham, Slice. It's boxing talk, bro. If it's not for you. Peace. Christopher Lane. People don't know boxing, and nobody wants to be wrong. Man, listen. There's a reason why Floyd Mayweather uncle said most people don't know shit about boxing. Because everybody's an expert. I say The best conversations always go back and forth as fans. As fans, go back and forth, trash talking, all that. When everybody turns into an expert, that's when shit get crazy. When everybody is an expert. I think truth is strange. I think Tank beat Shakur, but I'm not a hater. That's just my opinion. Not everyone's a hater. No, so let me say something. Truth is strange. Thinking that Tank beats Shakur doesn't make you a hater at all. There's nothing wrong with that. Tank Davis is a great fighter. But if rooting for Tank means that you have to start discrediting Shakur, that you have to start saying he didn't beat nobody, that you start to say that what he done in boxing, then you're a hater. Because you're talking about one of the most accomplished young fighters in the sport of this whole era. So if you have to discredit Shakur or discredit his wins, you're a hater. Without a doubt, without a shred of doubt. Just take a look at Zepeda yesterday. Look at his ranking. He's highly ranked in all of the sanctioning bodies. He's undefeated. And look at the first thing Raw Dog said. Shakur Stevenson was the favorite. Zepeda, he had a chance, but Shakur was the favorite. He got to fight people. He got to fight people that are closer. No credit. No flowers. Straight into the hate narrative. So you have to understand that there's a difference between acknowledging, hey, I feel like Tank can win because Tank is a special fighter, and hating on Shakur. Trying to take away from this win that he just had by trying to take away. Come on. Come on. Armando Rosado, I want Tank versus Shakur. But you say yourself, that fight not happening. He shouldn't wait on Tank. The thing is that Tank is 30 years old. And I know that there's a lot of fighters who right around that age started floating the retiring rumors. They had already made a lot of money. They were big stars. But, a big offer came along and they took it. So what I feel like right now, Tank Davis, he already sees himself retiring undefeated, and he don't want to fight Shakur. He just doesn't want that fight. He don't want to lose that O. So for him to risk it against Shakur is going to have to be a crazy offer. They're going to have to offer him $50 million, $80 million, something that is just like, okay, yeah, I'm going to have to take that $100 million, like something just too crazy that he won't be able to say no. And it could happen. I think it could happen. Jashan Pratu, how to box, sir. How to be next Muhammad. Watch videos on YouTube. Kema 44, I think Tank might duck the Roach rematch. If he does, Shakur should fight Roach and do what Tank could. Make easy work of Roach. So it can happen. Remember, Lamar Roach and Shakur Stevenson were in talks to fight each other. If Lamar Roach would have beat Tank in the first fight, well, let's be real, he did beat Tank. But if the judges didn't rob him of that W, he would have fought Shakur Stevenson after to unify titles. It's just that he got robbed. Tank Davis got gifted that draw. So now there's the rematch. I've been telling you guys, I feel like the rematch is something that may not happen. And I felt that way even before Tank Davis got arrested. Before Tank Davis got arrested, I felt that way. You know why? Because look, the last date that they made available, I think it was August 16th. I'm not sure. Right? So Lamar Roach and Tank Davis, technically, they supposed to fight in August. Technically next month. So how is it that Tank Davis and Lamar Roach are fighting in August? Yet, if you look at the mugshot from Tank Davis being arrested, he looked fat. Not fat, but his face looked round. He don't look like he in no damn training camp for no fight. But like I told you, before the arrest, I had already been talking about it. Like, yo, are they going to fight? I want you guys to consider this. The last time that we heard about Tank Davis and Lamont Roach from an official source when Steven Espinoza said that they was having a hard time getting the budget. I don't know if you guys seen it. Some of you, I'm pretty sure, seen it. Steven Espinoza said that they was having a hard time getting the budget. They still haven't or had not put the whole card together. As you guys know, we're supposed to be getting a rematch. Have you heard of a card being announced for that? Yo, it's like they don't have shit put together. So, with a month to go, no date has been announced after Espinosa said they're having a hard time with the budget. We're not seeing any press conferences. We're not seeing any promotion. We're not seeing anything that says the fight is happening. We can only assume. Doesn't this feel like the same vibe as when Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence were supposed to have a rematch? I'm feeling that same vibe. For Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, we had a fight date for the rematch. Then that date was pushed forward. And then we didn't have a date. And then there was no rematch. And right now, we had a date for the rematch. The rematch was pushed forward. And now we really don't have a date. And to add to all that drama, Tank Davis gets arrested. Now he's dealing with a legal situation. What's going to happen? Champ, if Shakur fight Tank, he's Tank like that, he's getting whooped. If Shakur fight Tank like that, it's going to be the same thing. Going to smoke him. Going to whoop his ass. Raw dog. And I'm going to show you, Champ, that you're wrong. You saw Lamont Roach fight Tank Davis like that? Lamont Roach didn't get knocked out. Why Shakur going to get knocked out? He got a better defense than Lamont. And he get hit a lot less than Lamont Roach. So if Tank went face-to-face, toe-to-toe, blow for blow, 12 rounds with Shakur Stevenson, with Tank Davis, why Shakur can't? You got to reassess that thought, my guy. Raw dog, I prefer to see Shakur versus a big, young 135 like Murataya, Keyshawn, or even Cruz. Me too. Me too. Raw dog, Tank as well. I prefer to see Shakur Stevenson fight Tank Davis over everybody because that's the biggest fight. Tank is the guy. You see, that's what I don't understand. Why? Like, look, Raw dog, who you prefer to see Shakur fighting. When you name the people that you prefer to see Shakur fighting, you leave Tank Davis for last. Actually, you didn't even leave Tank Davis for last. You left him for a whole different sentence. For a whole different... So you really prefer to see Shakur with Murataya, Keyshawn, and Cruz. Let me ask you something, Rodo. Who do you prefer to see Tank fight? Who would you prefer Tank Davis to fight? If he don't fight Lamont Roach, who do you think he should fight next? Armando Rosado, Roach is no easy fight. I have Shakur, but Roach is not a tune-up. He has a great fundamental... Yeah, yo, Roach has already shown that he belongs amongst the elite. Lamont Roach is a special fighter. He already showed us. That's it. Half alive. No one reason why Tank can't fight Shakur because Shakur takes snack. I don't know what snack got to do with anything. I don't know if if you're into conspiracies or if you into making stuff up out of thin air, look for a conspiracy channel, my guy. This is not it. Christopher Leden, I think Tank needs to postpone the fight to have no distractions or excuses. I agree. As of right now, he's dealing with a legal situation that could, it could cost him his freedom, my people. And I said it before, you don't want to see nobody go to jail and lose everything, You don't want to see that. So hopefully Tank Davis is able to get out of this situation without having to go to jail. And let's see, get his shit together, man. Get his shit together. Truth is strange. This was a great boxing event in NYC. Turkey putting on a good show is good for boxing. I agree. That was a great event. The fighters all showed out. 4 great fights. Great. But this was not part of Turkey's boxing league. I want to see what his boxing league is gonna look like, cause it looks like him and Dana White and the other guys involved in it. I think they may have ran into some roadblocks, some challenges, cause they sold that shit like we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, we're gonna do that, but we haven't really been hearing nothing about that TKO league. So why you announcing something and then just let it die out? Like there's no buzz around it because you ain't even talking about it. Christopher Ledin, announcement was gonna be announced after Pacquiao hasn't trained in 3 years. Announcement was gonna be announced. I don't know what you mean, bro. Announcement was gonna be announced. Got late. Ruben Estrada, why we don't see Floyd in Davis's fights? Because they're not working together no more. Tank Davis left Floyd Mayweather promotion a couple of years ago. John Parham, Christopher, Pac was actually training 2 days ago. Ruben, they fell out. That's facts. They fell out. Troy McRae, Jay Smith, good morning, my guy. Did you get a chance to watch the Puello Matias fight over, like you said? Troy McRae, salute, my brother. So, listen, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I watched, and I still saw Alberto Puello winning the fight. I see him winning the fight. I saw him winning the fight, my G. But I want to say this. I don't want to call it a robbery because even though I saw Alberto Puello winning it, it was such a close fight and there was a lot of swing rounds that they just could have won either way, that I don't feel like it was a robbery. I wouldn't say that it was. I would just say that it was a very close fight. I saw Alberto Puello winning. The judges had Subriel edging it out. That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Raw Dog, I want Tank to fight those opponents as well. So again, Raw Dog, you're proving my theory. You're not saying that you want Shakur to fight Tank. And you're not really saying that you want Tank to fight Shakur. Like I said, as a Tank Davis fan, you're proving my logic. Tank Davis fans is the only fan base in the entire world of boxing who don't show interest in Tank fighting Shakur. You're like, who you want Tank to fight? Those opponents. You won't even name who you want. Look, Shakur, you go straight to who you want him, name by name. With Tank, yeah, fight those opponents as well. You won't even name them. Look at your passiveness towards who Tank should face and how assertive you are when it's about who you want Shakur to fight. There's a difference, man. You a Shakur Stevenson hater. You just don't have the same energy towards both of them. You don't, my guy. I hate Tank Davis. I think he's a cherry picker. Nah, it's quite the opposite. You're actually a Tank Davis fan and you hate Shakur. It's the opposite. Nothing you saying connects with a Shakur fan or with a Tank Davis hater. It don't connect. You're a Tank Davis. You're in the closet Tank Davis fan and in the closet Shakur Stevenson hater. I just got to tell you what I see, my guy. Christopher Leden, Tank shouldn't focus on fighting. He needs to focus on getting his shit. That's a fact, man. I hope, like I said, I hope Tank Davis doesn't go to jail. I hope that he's able to find a situation where maybe, they'll give him like anger management or something like that. Let's see how it all plays out. Sam Smith, no, Matias won by a small margin. You cannot win. I'm backing up all the time. Judge got it right. Fight. You see, Sam Smith, that's the point. We all have a different perspective. And when you're saying that you cannot win backing up, that's not true. Please don't make me start looking for you for endless example of fighters who won backtracking, because that is not true at all. You're 100% wrong about that. Fighters do that. If you go around social media, you find it pretty much split. You find a bunch of people saying that Subriel won, a bunch of people saying that Alberto won. You find there's a reason why there's people who felt both sides won, my brother. There's a reason for that. Okay, man. Shakur should do like Benavidez did. Clean up your weight division. and move it to 140. Challenge Theo, Devin, Ryan, etc. Let the public and Jay Smith put the pressure on Tank for avoiding you. The thing is that Tank Davis, I believe that they already made the decision that they won't fight Shakur. So all everybody can do is apply that pressure on him. And Shakur is going to keep the foot on Tank Davis' neck. Regardless of Tank Davis fans, condoning the duck, regardless of the in the closet Shakur Stevenson haters like Raw Dog, who'll be like, yeah, he just gotta fight somebody else. He gotta just look for somebody else. He gotta keep that pressure on Tank Davis' neck until Tank Davis retired. That's the thing. You see, that's the advantage that Shakur Stevenson got on Tank. Let me give you something that a lot of people don't notice. Y'all see how Tank Davis tried to do Lomachenko? He tried to age him out and catch him down the line. He didn't want to fight him, right? When Lomachenko was destroying everybody, stopping everybody. Chase Clips, what's the deal? What's the deal, fam? They didn't want to fight Lomachenko. Now, Lomachenko on the verge of retirement, they call him out. Oh, we want to fight you now. Right before he retired, they wanted to fight Lomachenko. Cool, you aged him out. The fight didn't happen. Guess what? Shakur Stevenson is younger than Tank. You can't age him out. You can't catch him when he get older. You just can't do it. You can't. So you're going to have to either fight him or retire without. Run. Not going to have much of a choice. You're not going to have much of a choice. Raw Dog Shakur boxes Tank. How am I a Tank fan? Simple. In the closet, Tank fans say whatever they need to say. You don't really believe. You don't really mean that shit. You go in other groups, in Facebook groups with your real identity, and you talk about how Tank is gonna knock Shakur out, how Shakur don't got a good resume, how Zepeda ain't all that. That's not what you be saying with your real face in your real Facebook. Stop it, Raw Dog. You're not fooling me. I recognize ya. I recognize Shakur Stevenson haters. And I recognize Tankomaniacs. I recognize you, my G. You're not fooling me. You're not fooling me. But again, take a look at the last few episodes of Boxing for Breakfast, where all of y'all got a healthy dosage of sweet science in the morning. Where's all the people who said Shakur Stevenson was going to run all night long? I don't know. But let's fast forward. Since people ducking the smoke about Shakur Stevenson, since people understand that Shakur Stevenson is him, since Raw Dog couldn't even find a way to hate on Shakur, now he had to act like he a Shakur Stevenson fan. Let's move on to the main event, my peoples. Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. Now, there's some of you in the chat right now who've been on here for almost every episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Can anyone put it on the... I'm asking you, my peoples. And this is a favor that I'm asking you. I'm pretty sure John Parham, you've been in every episode, so you may actually remember. But anyone who remembers, can you put in the chat, what did I say was going to happen between Hamza Shiraz and Edgar Berlanga? Or can you say, what have I been saying about Edgar Berlanga for the last few weeks? I don't want to say it. I could pull up the receipt. But I just want to know if anybody in the chat remembers what I've been saying about Shiraz and what I've been saying about Berlanga. John, GOS, Tank got the DVC belt, domestic violence belt. Ah, that's a low blow, bro. Love more Hinduism. Shiraz is no joke. I knew he could pull it off. Sam Smith. Subriel is a fun fighter. Judges had to give it this way against the fans to keep boxing alive. Subriel is definitely an exciting fighter to watch. You know, he's the type of fighter that you tune in, you know you're gonna get an action-packed type of night. Subriel Matias there to fight. You know, so I have to agree with you 100% on that one, my guy. John Parham, can we get the lights up? Damn, we lacking. You see what I'm saying? 45, 50 people, 13 likes, ducking that like button the same way Tank Davis ducking Shakur. The same way Raw Dog is ducking the fact that he's a Tankomaniac and a Shakur Stevenson hater. Truth is strange. Shiraz was a beast. I was surprised how easily he can beat Berlanga. Yo, he beat the crap out of Berlanga, yo. I'm going to put it to you. And then you see the lead up to this fight. The thing about Edgar Berlanga, he's a person who is easy to be unlikable. The way that he talks to people, the way that he trash talks, the way that he was pointing at Shiraz like this, like with a gun. He's an easily unlikable person. And to watch him get beat up like that, you see people celebrating. You see people laughing. That's why. That's why, because how he act as a person. Champ, they're going to make when trash talk goes wrong from Shiraz Berlanga. I already posted, my brother. This was my line when it comes to that fight, my headline. I had a headline for every fight. Let me give you guys my headline for every fight that took place yesterday, on Saturday. Listen to this, my peoples. David Morrell went to war and won. That's for that fight. Subriel Matias won in controversial fashion. That's 2. 3. Shakur Stevenson left the haters in shambles. That's 3. You see Road Dogg talking about he should fight somebody that's better. And Edgar Berlanga kept it real, but Shiraz kept it realer. John Parham, boxing, I'm not sure. Ben has potential, but he just needs to box and quit the extra bull. Yeah, man, he got to stop all the little showboating and all that stuff. But I like him as a fighter, man. He can fight. Chan, do you see Oscar's reaction in the win? Yeah, I see him. I mean, Oscar is probably the worst person that you can troll. You cannot troll Oscar De La Hoya. He's untrollable at this point because he don't give a damn. He already, his past, the fishnet and all that stuff, he laugh about it himself. That's it. You can't mess with him. Champ, Oscar wilding out. Canelo Alvaroids. John Parham, cocaine a hell of a drug. Who just has a wig laying around? Yo, come on now. Oscar De La Hoya is on some different kinds of things. I heard that when people make, a certain level of millions, they start exploring different options. Champ, the one he threw at him. John Parham, you're right. GOS, Tank has been ducking Loma and Shakur. Floyd knew Tank was kryptonite. Floyd knew Tank kryptonite. He knew. He knew the type of fighters that was going to give Tank problems or that was going to be able to beat him. Sam Smith, why Tio duck Matias? He is running. I don't think Teofimo duck Matias, and I'm going to tell you why. You got to understand, my brother, when Subriel Matias lost his title, he got completely dominated, and his stocks plummeted. Nobody was talking about Subriel Matias. Nobody was interested. It's the way that it happens in boxing. When you get dominated, people start forgetting about you. So Subriel Matias' stocks fell. And you got a Teofimo Lopez who's looking for the biggest fight, who's looking for the biggest name, who's looking for somebody that has momentum on his corner. Look, this guy was trying to make a fight with Jerome Boots Ennis, who's hot on fire right now. Trying to make a fight with Devin Haney. So I think with the Subriel Matias fight, it was more about that. It was more about Teofimo Lopez looking for bigger names, bigger opportunities than someone who was coming off of a loss. Because you got to think, Subriel Matias, after losing his comeback fight was versus a fighter you never heard of in a very small venue in Puerto Rico. And his second fight back was something similar to that. So right now was Subriel Matias' first real comeback fight, like at the big stage. And he won. But I think his popularity had went down after he took that L. Champ, it's crazy. Oscar is a six-weight world champion and an Olympic gold medalist. No one can actually talk that shit about his resume. That's the problem. That's why they can only talk about the fishnet and you did drugs, and they can only talk about because he had a better resume than all of you. How many fighters are going to be able to match that resume? Even 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 his haters, when they talk about him, they talk about personal shit. You cannot touch the Golden Boy's resume. He's goated. Look at it like that. Truth is strange. How is Berlanga going to come back? That was a devastating knockout and beat that. Listen, I think the biggest beatdown was to Berlanga's ego. That's where he took the worst beating. Psychologically. You got this guy who's been talking all that shit during the entire training camp. He's gonna knock him out. He's gonna break his face into little pieces. And then you get pummeled like that. You're talking about this is gonna be your coming out party in New York. The stars are coming out to see you. You're the guy. You're gonna break that giraffe looking dude. And look what happened. So Edgar Berlanga got humiliated, humbled down. Let's see. Let's see what's gonna be next. But I'm gonna tell you like this. Cam J Network, salute my brother. Bam. I'm gonna tell you like this, my peoples. And I said it before. I told you guys this. Edgar Berlanga is a hype job. That's the definition of a hype job. Not because he lost. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, my peoples. Losing doesn't automatically make a fighter a hype job. Not at all. Elite level fighters, champions, great fighters lose. I'm going to show you why Edgar Berlanga is a hype job. And you're going to understand me. Because I don't want nobody to say or even think that I hate on Edgar Berlanga. Because that's not the case, my peoples. At all. Edgar Berlanga is a fighter who has been in boxing for X amount of time and has had some success at a lower level. And I respect him as a fighter. But I want to show you something. What I had been trying to explain to you before this fight, why I was down on Edgar Berlanga. Look, I'm looking at his resume right now, his box rack, right? And I want to show you something that a lot of people didn't understand it, but I did. In 2023, Edgar Berlanga fought Jason Quigley, European dude. I think Jason Quigley, I think he's from the UK. And he went the distance with Quigley. And yo, Berlanga was in a dogfight, in a war. Quigley's a guy who can fight, but he's never going to be at the top. Berlanga was in a dogfight with Quigley. Then you move up. He went versus Padraig McRory. Stopped him. Cool. But then right after McRory, what happened? He faced Canelo. So McRory was like an easy opponent that they gave him to set him up for the Canelo fight. But also, before Quigley, I'm going to go back real quick, my peoples. So y'all can see where Edgar Berlanga seemed to be unraveling. George Jackin, was you impressed by Shakur? We was talking about Shakur, George Jackin. We got to talk about it. Shakur Stevenson demoralized all of his haters. They disappear. They know where to be found. They don't even know how to hate. This morning, they talking about, nah, I'm a Shakur Stevenson fan. I'm not a hater after what he did. But look at this about Edgar Berlanga, my peoples. I want you to think about this. If you recall, he started his career by knocking out all of his first opponents, like the first 15, 16, he knocked all of them out. He had a perfect knockout percentage, right? Watch this. The knockout streak ended in 2021. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to knock everybody out, but I want you to see this. Desmond Nichols went the distance with Berlanga, and it was a dogfight. Marcelo Caceres went the distance. It was a dogfight. Steve Ross went the distance, a dogfight. Ruemer Alexis went the distance, a dogfight. That's Angulo. Jason Quigley, the distance, a dogfight. So what I'm trying to explain to you, my peoples, is that I noticed a trend that Edgar Berlanga was going the distance and involved in tough fights versus decent fighters. Versus fighters who are never going to be world champions. So I said to myself, you know what? If Edgar Berlanga is in dogfights with these guys, what's going to happen when he gets to the elite? I predicted Canelo was going to knock him out. I thought Canelo was going to knock him out. Only reason Canelo didn't knock Edgar Berlanga out is because he didn't fight like he fought on Saturday. He fought Canelo to survive. He actually thought he could beat Hamza Shiraz and got slumped. So there's my reasoning, my peoples. For those who think that I hate on Berlanga, it's not about hating on Berlanga. It's that I saw him go the distance consecutively and go to war with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 dudes in a row. I was like, nah. And then fight Canelo like he wasn't cut from that same cloth, like he was trying to survive. That's why I've been telling you guys for the last few weeks, my people, I've been down on Berlanga. I don't believe in him. I don't believe him. He got to convince me. I got Shiraz winning this fight. And look at the way the fight played out. Look at the way the fight played out. So I'm not just telling you stuff to just tell you. I'm actually analyzing all the information that I have in front of me. And Edgar Berlanga is a hype job. Look what happened. He stepped. Losing, like I said before, my peoples, losing doesn't make you a hype job. But the way that you lose can make you a hype job. Look at the way he lost to Canelo. Got completely dominated. And look now, he got slumped. He's a hype job. David Morrell is not a hype job. You know why? Look at the way he lost to Benavidez. He was landing big punches on the Mexican monster. He was having his moments. He was out there taking it to the Mexican monster, looking like he was trying to win the fight. Why? Because he's cut from that same cloth. We're going to see David Morrell become a champion again. Edgar Berlanga, I told you guys the same. On Saturday morning, I told you guys, Edgar Berlanga is the type of fighter who he's going to beat the average Joes. The bums, the average Joes, the part-time boxers. He going to beat those guys. But when he move up to fight the creme de la creme, he's going to get beat up. Sam Smith, Berlanga does not have versatility, only experience and strength. He stood the ground on the KO, got up. Yeah, he got up. He got up, but it was embarrassing, you know. Look, that fight for Berlanga was embarrassing for many reasons. But for the most part, is because of his behavior. Because how he act, how he carry himself. Now you gotta, after you say that you're the big star, you're gonna show out in your city. You gotta look at everybody in the face with your face lumped up. You look goofy as hell now. Remember, in boxing, you could trash talk all you want. Boxing is a combat sport and a trash talking sport. But if you can't back it up, people's gonna holler at you. The Berlanga getting knocked out memes is already all over the place, my people. Champ, All I'm saying is, Bud was Japanese. I wouldn't be a hater. That would be honest. That's me being honest. But I don't understand why you have to hate him as a black fighter. Like I don't understand I can't make the connection. Armando Rosado Berlanga is green, too green. Is not how many fights, is how much experience. Listen, man, whatever you want to call him, Berlanga's a hype job. He's a hype job. He's not as good as people believe, as he believe he think he is. When I see Berlanga talking about himself, I'm like, yo, this nigga's delusional. This nigga delusional. Berlanga be out there talking like he Mike Tyson. What are we talking about? He auto designated himself the king of New York. My man say he never won a title in his life. Never even. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Berlanga, he allowed the money to get to his head way too much. Way too much. Giovanni Walker, what's up, Jay Smith? What's the deal, Giovanni Walker? Bam, appreciate you dropping in, my brother. And I'm going to tell you guys something funny. Champ. That's the reality, Jay Smith. People hate on Bud because he's black. No matter how good he is or what he is. So I'm going to say this, champ. I think you're generalizing a bit because Crawford does have a lot of haters because he's black, but that's not the only reason why. Because Crawford has a lot of black boxing fans that hate on him too. And they not hating on him because he's black, because they fans of other black fighters. They hating on Crawford because they tankomaniacs. So if you're a tankomaniac, if you're a PBC fan, if you a fan of Al Heyman, for some reason you gotta hate Crawford. And you gotta hate Shakur. I never understood that. It's almost like I don't understand why people gotta pick sides. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. I want to break something down to you guys that I want all of you guys to consider. Please keep this in mind, my peoples. Champ, everyone would love Crawford if he was Mexican. That's not true, my brother, because everyone doesn't love Canelo. Do you see the hate that Canelo gets? So you see, that's not true. If he was Mexican, they would hate him like they hate Canelo. If he was Asian, they would hate him like they hate Pac-Man. My brother, there's people from every single corner of the world that get hate. Don't do it, bro. Don't act like it's only black fighters that get hate. Everybody gets hate. A lot of it. I wanna break something down to you, for you guys. And I deserve the like button, my peoples. Hit that like button. I'm gonna give you guys something that's a piece of important information that you should keep in mind. Drop some fire on you right now. You guys may recall that people was trying to mock Shakur for Raw Dog. Only black fighters get hate. Oh, nah, Raw Dog. I'm not even gonna answer to that, man. Now you're getting corny, bro. You see, you're getting corny with that one. I'm not even gonna respond to that. My peoples, I'm gonna drop a good one on y'all. I'm gonna drop fire on y'all. Remember when everybody, or not everybody, but remember when people was mocking? Y'all remember when people was mocking Shakur Stevenson because he was the co-main event? And they got to a point where in almost every conversation about Shakur fighting Tank Davis fans will be like, well, nah, because Shakur, he's not even a main event fighter. Take this into consideration. Shakur Stevenson been fighting the main event for years at this point. But for this fight, right, he ain't the main event. And now people been digging deep into that. Oh, yeah, look, Shakur ain't even the main event. And the logic, right, is that Edgar Berlanga was going to show out in New York City in the main event. That was the logic. So, supposedly, and fans told me this, Shakur Stevenson was the co-main event because he was going to run all night long and it was going to be a boring fight and put people to sleep. So they put Berlanga as the main event so that he can light up the show, so that he can close the card with a bang in his hometown where he's the king. He says he's the king of New York. And how did it really play out? Well, the way that it went down, Shakur Stevenson left the haters in shambles, still trying to figure out excuses. Now they want to be Shakur Stevenson fans. Now they don't want to say that they thought he was going to run the whole fight. Shakur Stevenson showed out, my peoples. Put together a master performance versus a highly ranked, undefeated William Zepeda. Shakur Stevenson was Floyd Mayweather-like out there. There you have it. Meanwhile, Edgar Berlanga got slumped. This was a perfect case of where keeping it real goes wrong. If you saw the press conferences, Berlanga putting his hands on Shiraz's face, acting like it's a gun, cursing him out, telling him that he's going to knock him out, break his face. And look what happened. Berlanga kept it real, but Shiraz kept it realer. So what is next for Hamza Shiraz after such an explosive performance? And what about Shakur Stevenson? Who's next to get Zepeda after what he just did? We shall find out, my peoples. But never ever are they going to disrespect Shakur Stevenson with a co-main event. That was the last time. You see? You forgot that Shakur Stevenson is the versatile fighter who can fight in a football field or inside of a phone booth and still get the same results. He just refreshed your recollection on Saturday, my peoples. Y'all already know what it is. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Center, and this is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. Peace. I'm not leaving yet, my peoples. I'm not leaving yet. Don't think I'm leaving. Don't think I'm leaving. My peoples, to everybody in the building, y'all know this is Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Shakur Stevenson got the haters in shambles. Hamza Shiraz got the haters in shambles. Let's get it. Woo. Yo, this has been a great week. You know it's been a great weekend for boxing, man, when we just been going back and forth like that. Truth is strange. If you are a trash talker, you will get more hate. It's as simple as that. It's real talk. Edgar Berlanga, he did way too much. Way too much. So now, if you do too much and you get slumped, literally got slumped, then you know what's going to happen. You know how people are going to go at you. Lord Sweat Real. Top of the morning, big bro. Be more. Salute, my G. Bam. Appreciate you dropping in. What do you think about Shakur Stevenson's performance, my guy? Everybody was saying he was going to run all night long, and Zepeda was going to pressure him too much. He wasn't going to be able to handle it. What do you think about Shakur Stevenson's Floyd Mayweather-like performance? Giovanni Walker. In Stevenson's last fight, assume in the 11th round or 10th round, he started to flow like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Just like beat the audience start booing his boxing ability to move. It's like they want Stevenson to stand in there for the other opponent can hit him. Casual race fans. See, the thing is, they want to see him get hit, and he got hit yesterday. Yesterday, Shakur Stevenson gave fans what they wanted. He did that. He did that, my peoples. That's why I'm saying he absolutely left the haters in shambles. They don't know what to say. They don't know. Yesterday, my peoples, we saw Shakur. My bad. Hold on. I want to make sure we clear. we saw Shakur Stevenson giving the haters what they want. They've been asking for him to stand in front of the fighter, to trade leather, to trade punches. Oh, he's scared. William Zepeda is a guy with 25 knockouts and an 80% knockout percentage. Shakur went toe-to-toe, blow for blow with him for 12 rounds. What now? What you gonna hate about? Now it's time to start discrediting. Cue in the discrediting Zepeda techniques. Crazy work. Crazy, crazy, crazy work. GPS. Shakur Stevenson should have never signed with Top Rank. PBC would have made him a star. PB fighter faster than Top Rank. Shakur is a star. I mean, but I don't understand why you're saying that. PBC barely exists right now. Like, who's with PBC? Who right now, GPS, who are your favorite fighters on PBC right now? Right this very moment. Truth is strange. Raw Dog got caught being a Shakur Stevenson hater. Raw Dog is wilding out, man. You see? Like, that's the funny thing about Shakur Stevenson haters and Buck Crawford haters. They'll step in the chat, start telling you all the negative angles that the haters say, and then tell you, nah, but I'm a fan of them. I'm a fan of them. They just could have did better. Or they just could have fought better. Yo, it's mad funny. Terrence Crawford haters be like, yo, Terrence Crawford, look, he didn't even really beat Madrimov. He did okay, and he hasn't beat nobody. Oh, you're a hater. Nah, yo, I'm a Terrence Crawford fan. Like, bro, how you talking about Terrence Crawford ain't beat nobody, but you're not a hater? What are we doing? It's like they will step in. They can't even help themselves. They'll start hating. And when they expose themselves, they try to take it back. Nah, I'm a fan. Stop it. Sam Smith, Shakur, they should now show up in Newark, period. Give love. Come on, man. Come on. Shakur Stevenson has already proven that he can do it on the outside, he can do it on the inside, and still walk out of there with the same results. JJ's in there, has good fights this weekend. Can't wait. Bro, boxing has been on fire. Been on fire. It's been on fire. George Jackin, are we talking about Shakur yet? Yes, we are, my guy. George Jackin. Look, the thing about Shakur, George Jackin, that it's a little bit harder to actually debate, because now Shakur Stevenson haters, they're either staying quiet, they're watching, but they're not saying anything, or they jumping in the chat talking about, nah, I'm a Shakur Stevenson fan too. I'm just saying that he should fight this person and that person, but I'm a fan. They all became his fans all of a sudden. Giovanni Walker, people should be a fan of boxing. I'm not a fan of boxer. Enjoy the sport and have a favorite fighter. I mean, you should be a fan of boxing and a fan of boxers. You know, a fan of the sport overall and a fan of boxers. But when you become a hater, you start making real bad arguments, and you start looking back. You start looking like a goofball because your arguments don't add up. It's stuff that you're trying to formulate to make it fit what you want to believe. So when you look, who was it? What's the name? Oh, Viz. This was a guy that yesterday told me, Jay, I'm unsubscribing because you're a smart ass. He said that Zepeda was going to knock out Shakur. He felt stupid because Shakur put the beats on Zepeda. He mad at me. Go be mad at Zepeda, you goofball. George Jackin, Shakur can't use that rope of dope against Tank. Tank will crack that style. I'm a hater against Tank. You're a hater against Tank? Or you're a hater against Shakur? I see that fight. I see Shakur beating Tank no matter how he chooses to fight him, man. You know, he can do it on the outside. He can do it on the inside. So you're saying I'm a hater against Tank? You're a Shakur hater too, because you're already looking for a way to say that Shakur will lose. Like, come on now. Your first thing that you've been waiting to say is that Shakur will lose if he fight Tank like that. Come on, bro. Damn. K-Man, Bob Arum slow Shakur progress. By now, Shakur fight Loma. You see, my brother, I can already see K-Man 44 that you already have a narrative against Top Rank and Bob Arum. And I say that because Bob Arum can't force Lomachenko to fight Shakur. He can't force him. They actually offer the fight to Lomachenko. So you're blaming Bob Arum for a fight that he couldn't even make happen if he wanted to because Lomachenko didn't want to fight Shakur. You're putting the blame in the wrong place because you're setting up a narrative of what you want to believe, my brother. Shakur Stevenson has had a great career at Top Rank. While you're talking about his progress being slowed, at 28 years old, Shakur Stevenson is a 3-division champion, a unified champion, and a reigning champion in a 3rd division. How the hell is his progress slowed down, bro? This guy's one of the most accomplished fighters in boxing. I don't understand how. I don't understand what are you measuring to say that Shakur Stevenson progress has slowed when he's one of the most popular young fighters in boxing today, my brother. Clearly, you don't like Top Rank. I'm going to assume that you're probably one of the PBC fan base who just don't like Top Rank, so you look for these weird angles like, nah, he could have did something else business-wise, and he should have did something. Meanwhile, this kid is one of the most accomplished and one of the most famous young fighters. That don't make no sense, K-Man. Let me know what it is that you're measuring to say that his progress has been slowed down with the level of popularity that he has. JJ Sendejas, you can be a fan of boxing and a fan of boxers, but don't be a fanager. I always say we don't need to be fanagers. We don't, like, I'll give you an example, right? When these fighters, when they get deposited their check, and if they get deposited $10 million, $20 million, I'm not going to get a dime from that. That doesn't entertain me. I'm happy for them. I want to see all the fighters get big paydays. But I don't want to sit here and argue with you about who's making more money and who's making less money. That's some straight up fanager shit. Not because this guy make more money than that guy and that guy makes more money. Like, why are we arguing that? All of these people are rich. All of these people got mansions, got multiple cars, got, like, it's to me, it's corny to even debate those things. Imagine a guy who has $50 million and a guy who has $10 million. They both millionaires. I know I'm not a millionaire. I know I don't got a car collection. I don't got a mansion. I don't got a big-ass swimming pool in my house. All of them got that shit. What are we arguing about? Why are we debating money? Who makes more money? Who put butts in seats? I don't even understand that. Why people get entertained by being fanagers. I don't. Lawrence Carmichael, I hope you watch Berlanga get KO because that's going to be your boy soon. We all know this is the Terrence Crawford channel. Berlanga, come on. I don't know if you've been watching, but I told everybody I don't believe in Berlanga, and I just don't have a good feeling. Played out the way that I expected when it comes to Berlanga. This is actually, hold on, Lawrence Carmichael. You know, I don't think that this is if you go in this channel, you're going to find out that this is actually a boxing channel, a channel for boxers. But you consider it that because you're a Terrence Crawford hater. You can't handle it when somebody tells you the truth. You don't like to hear his accomplishments. It gets you mad. It pushes your button. When you hear somebody say Crawford is an undisputed champion in multiple divisions, he's undefeated, he's accomplished a lot, you don't like to hear it. It ticks you. John Parham, Shakur against the ropes against Tank will be a bad idea. I mean, I think that Shakur, just like he's done in his whole career, is going to find a way to beat Tank. That's it. He's going to have the game plan to beat Tank. GOS, Shakur versus Hitchens, it's a good fight. I like that fight. Joe Jacket. Terrence Crawford is my favorite fighter. Joe Jacket. I like Deontay Wilder too. The Bronx Bomber. The Bronx Bomber is at the end of his career. He won his last fight. Let's see what's next for him. John Parham. Shakur Cooks Hitchens. That's a good fight. I got Shakur winning over everybody. I don't see nobody beating him. JJ's in their house. Hit the like button, everyone. Let's go. Appreciate it, my G. Giovanni Walker. They won't let me super chat. I don't know why. I don't know why, my brother. I don't know if YouTube is shitting on me somehow, some way. John Parham. Can't see anyone can hate, but honestly, I don't know, bro. I don't have. So, look, I don't know why people hate Crawford. I don't understand it. But from what I've seen, it's mostly the Tankomaniacs and the PBC fan base and the Al Haymanites. It's most of them who hate Bud. Giovanni Walker, do you have Cash App? I do not have Cash App, my brother. The only way is via the super chat. I don't understand why it's not working, but I still appreciate you, my brother. Eskimani, what's up? What's the deal, my G? Bam. George Jacket. And if anybody else has tried to throw something in there in the super chat, let me know, just in case. I want to know if there's an issue with that, if I got to look into it. George Jacket, Buck Crawford is going to whoop sleeves of Canelo. Raw Dog, Zepeda force Shakur to the roast. I don't know if Tank would do that. Gojo Tio, salute. Salute, Gojo Tio. Eskimani, I'm going to be a fanager. Shakur needs to go undisputed at 135. But, Shakur at 135. But, unification fights, no moving to 140 yet. That in reality, that's not being a fanager. Fanager is when people start talking about who's making more pay-per-view, who is selling more seats, stuff that related to money, who's making more money, who got the biggest purse, who's getting the most guaranteed money. Like, that's stuff that we should not even be discussing because we're not going to get a cut out of that. We're not going to get a percentage out of that. So the conversation about money should be cut out of, these conversations. But as far as unification fights and all that, that's a conversation for the fans, as Kimani, because we want to see fighters unify titles. We want to see fighters fight the best. We want to see Tank Davis fight Shakur and unify titles for once in his career because he's never even attempted it. We want to see it. That's a talk for us to have. Juan Ocasio, Canelo Crawford, we should just be happy that they fighting. Can't wait. I can't wait, my brother. And the funny thing about Canelo and Crawford, months ago, my people, you could look at the video. Months ago. No, not months ago, my bad. Let me take that back. Last year, I posted that Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez need to happen. Hey, yo, I had mad comments in the video of people saying, that fight will never happen. There's weight classes for a reason. You don't know shit about boxing. What are you doing talking about boxing when you say a fight like that can happen? When that fight was announced, my peoples, I went to a couple of those videos. Most of those people deleted their comments. Most of the people who said that I don't know shit about boxing because I was calling for Canelo and Crawford to fight each other, they deleted their comments, y'all. So, it's a fight that I saw as a possibility. The moment Terrence Crawford beat Madrimov, I saw a fight with Canelo as a possibility. I like he could fight Canelo. I saw it. And I said it right away. I posted a video. People started commenting, nah, this weight class is for a reason. This weight class is for a reason. It's an argument that some people don't know how to make. Especially if you don't know shit about boxing. It's an argument that never fit this fight. Weight classes for a reason is an argument that we make when somebody try to argue that Floyd Mayweather should have fought Mike Tyson. It's like, you're a dummy. Floyd Mayweather too small. It's weight class for a reason. But if two fighters are within reach of each other, that's the horrible argument to make. Bertha Gomes, what's up, brother? Good morning. Good morning, Bertha Gomes. Bam. You already know it. We talking about the fights from this weekend. The women showed out. Jake Paul showed out. Shakur Stevenson hurt a lot of feelings. Oh, Bertha Gomes, welcome to the show. I'm wondering, how are you after that beating that Shakur Stevenson gave William Zepeda? After you told me Zepeda was going to beat Shakur. How do you feel, Bertha Gomes? I was going to do a wellness check. Make sure you're doing good. Jamal James, if you said that about boxing, you know a lot about it. Facts. I'm telling you, my brother. All you have to do is stay tuned and see what I've been saying. I've been a lot of things. That's why I like to say it on the show, so that people can have the receipt. Bertha Gomes, you're the man, bro. Respect. I'm here to learn from you. I appreciate you, Bertha Gomes. Let me give you an example so you can see, my peoples, why I'm Stradamus. I want you to keep this in mind. And I appreciate you, Bertha Gomes, because you keeping it 100. There's a lot of people who were saying Zepeda was going to knock Shakur out. I haven't seen them since the fight. They come on the live and they stay quiet. They just watch. Don't say anything. Let me show you, my peoples, that I've been Stradamus. I'm going to show you that right now. Years ago, I said the PBC is going downhill. And they're going downhill bad. Why did I see it coming? Because the PBC, Al Heyman, was shielding their stars. They was only allowing their stars to fight in-house. While top-ranked stars were fighting with matchroom stars, where matchroom stars were fighting with Queensbury stars, PBC stars were doing the in-house thing. And Floyd Mayweather was public about it. We keeping it in-house. We're not going to make y'all money. We're going to keep all the money internal. So that technique of keeping the money internal, it only really worked out at the welterweight division because they had all of the big dogs. That's how they froze Terrence Crawford out for a couple of years. They had Porter, they had Keith Thurman, they had Danny Garcia, Errol Spence. They had all the guys. So, in other divisions, they didn't have all the big names. So they had a lot of fighters in PBC that were inactive, that were upset, that were frustrated, that wanted to leave. Y'all may not remember. Subriel Matias was a PBC fighter. Alberto Puello, I think, was also a PBC fighter. There's a bunch of PBC fighters that left. Think right now, guys, about the PBC roster. Somebody in the chat, right now, right this moment in the chat, without Googling it. If you take too long to do it, I'm going to know you Googled it. And you can Google it if you want. But somebody in the chat name 5 fighters on the PBC roster right now. Someone on the chat, my people. You can Google it if you want. Name 5 fighters on the PBC roster right now who are active. So where I'm getting at with this is that I say, yo, PBC is not looking good. The way that they're moving, the way that they're doing business, this ship is sinking. So if you look at PBC today and you compare it to where they were when they were freezing Terrence Crawford out, and today PBC is almost irrelevant. Think about it. I've asked a couple of people. I caught them by surprise. Boom. And I asked them, yo, Tell me the name of the PBC fighters. And they got stuck. Isaiah P., Tim Tszyu, Tank, Gary Antoine Russell, Rollies, and Fundora. Great 5 names. Now, if anybody else want to name a PBC fighter, name a different one. Name 5 PBC fighters not named by Isaiah P. But I'm going to tell you something interesting, Isaiah P. Because you're actually helping me get to my point. Tim Tszyu, Tank Davis, Gary Antoine Russell, Rollies, and Fundora. How many of them fight in the same division? How many of them could potentially fight each other? And that right there, the only potential fight right there is Gary Antoine Russell and Rollies. Tank Davis is not moving up from 135 ever to fight an elite level fighter. We know that. Tim Tszyu is in a different division. And Fundora, we're going to get the Tim Tszyu and Fundora rematch. And that's it. Well, actually, I misspoke. My bad. Because I said Gary Antoine and Rollies, but Tim Tszyu and Fundora. They're in the same division. So, how relevant can you be when look at the people that you name? 2 guys from 140 and 2 guys from 154. That's it. And wait a minute. And Fundora Tszyu from 154. Antoine and Tank. Giovanni Walker. The only thing about PBC and Al Heyman is that PBC needs a new face. Al Heyman is on the way out and retiring. Listen, I said it before and I posted videos about it. I said, my peoples, Al Heyman, their business model, the way that they're moving, Benavides is PBC too. The way that they're moving, the ship is sinking. PBC, if they don't change the way that they're moving, and I said this a couple of years ago, they're going to end up promoting fights in small venues with Don King. They're going to be, fuck around, end up promoting with Amazon Prime, with BLK Prime. PBC's not looking good, my people. They not. I want to show you something about the people that you guys named PBC fighters. Think about the PBC fighters that were named. And you're going to see, guys, that Rollies, he been around. He established. He not a new kid on the block. Tank Davis, 30 years old. Benavides, established fighter. What I'm saying is that none of the guys that you mentioned are the young bloods coming up. Those young, hungry lions, they're not going to PBC. Abdullah Mason, Floyd Scofield, the whole Keyshawn Davis squad. If you start looking at young fighters coming up, they're not going to PBC, my peoples. That's why I said PBC, Al Heyman, all of them, they're going to be hanging out with Don King in a couple of years the way it's going. Amazon Prime was like their last hit. Amazon Prime, it's like they clinging on. And Amazon Prime is like that last straw. Something got to happen. Oh, they cooked. The hybrid grind. Don't you think the PBC card coming up this weekend, it's a good card? Oh, no, my brother. Don't get it twisted. It's a great card. Not a good card. It's a great card. We're getting lots of great boxing. But here's the problem. Here's the problem, the hybrid grind. Look at how many cards you're getting from PBC the entire 2025. Meanwhile, Top Rank is giving you a boxing card almost every week. Sometimes even 2 cards in a weekend. Matchroom is giving you weekly boxing matches. Championship fights almost every week. How many cards PBC had this entire year? 3? That right there tells you. They're not booking enough shows. So what does that mean? you have a bunch of fighters that are inactive, a bunch of people with inactivity. So when you have a promotional company that got 50 fighters in there that are inactive, that got a whole roster of fighters that we don't even know about because y'all ain't fighting, we don't even know y'all signed to PBC. You think young, hungry fighters coming up are going to sign over there? You think a young gun, 19 years old, about to turn pro, is going to go somewhere where he see 20, 30 guys inactive? Come on, bro. Come on. So what happened with PBC has been happening slowly over the years, but I've seen the progression. The same thing with Showtime. When I said Showtime is going to leave boxing, I was called a hater. People said that I was a hater, that I was saying that to chase clout, that I was just trying to get attention from people. And I said, nah, yo, Showtime is going to leave boxing. Then when they finally leave boxing, all of a sudden, everybody knew it was going to happen. But when I said it was going to happen, people was knocking me for it. And I'm a hater. And I'm just hating on PBC. JJ said that has an HBO. The same thing that happened to Showtime is what happened to HBO first. They dealt with the same experience. Isaiah P. and Tank was hating on Carmel. Now he fights everywhere. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Look, here's what happened with HBO and with Showtime. HBO basically overpaid fighters to secure the big fights. So what happened is, when they kept doing that over and over, paying guys $10 million, but not generating that money back, eventually they lost millions and millions of dollars in boxing. And they had no choice but to pull the plug. So why did I say Showtime was going to pull the plug on boxing before it even happened? And I got called a hater for it? Because I saw it. Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, the Charlos brothers, Ugas, Errol Spence. It got to a point where all these guys was talking about was money. It got to a point where every time you ask one of them, yo, you gonna fight Bud? Well, you know, the money gotta be right. Talk to Al, because we making millions of dollars over here. We making millions. And I say to myself, wait a minute. These guys ain't big stars. These guys are not superstars. How the hell are they making millions of dollars? You ain't generating that. No way. None of them do. Yo, these dudes was making millions of dollars when they wasn't even on pay-per-view. Danny, Keith, Sean Porter. These dudes was making millions without even being on pay-per-view. I'm like, how? How is this possible? You know how is it possible? Al Heyman finessed Showtime to give him a shitload of upfront money. Al Heyman finessed the shit out of Showtime. Oh, these guys are big stars. We're going to make mad money for Showtime because millions of people are going to subscribe to watch these great stars in your network. They ran Showtime boxing into the ground, my peoples. I saw it coming before it happened. And when I tried to say it, people was like, nah, you a hater. Showtime is never going to pull the plug on boxing. You crazy? I was like, you're going to see, bro. I saw it happen with HBO, and I see it happening now. See? And Showtime was the last major company that Al Heyman was going to finesse. Because once he ran them into the ground, other companies was not going to give him upfront money. Amazon Prime is a distributor. Will distribute your content. They don't promote PBC. You don't go on Amazon Prime and see PBC events being promoted unless it's paid advertisement by the PBC. The hybrid grind. Heyman gives signing bonuses up front to secure the boxers. And that's the problem. They sell their soul to Al Heyman. You signed with him for many years. I've heard that he got looping contracts where, for example, if you win a title or if you win eliminate or something like that, then you have to re-sign for another 2 years. And if before that he gave you another title shot, you have to re-sign again. So it's like a contract where they have to keep re-signing, so you're stuck. You're stuck with them. Tank Davis was able to find his way out. But he was able to find his way out of Floyd Mayweather. He's still with Al Heyman. There's been some rumors about how they move over there. You know that. Sometimes they just, with a handshake. We just do business with a handshake. That's it. Like, at that level, you don't do business with a handshake. Carl Lubin, HBO 24/7 was the best for boxing till Pacquiao retired. Nah, HBO, my favorite was Boxing After Dark. That was my favorite HBO series, Boxing After Dark. Whoa. Juan Ocasio, PBC was having those free fights on TV first. They kind of kept boxing alive for a little bit. Nah, but you gotta remember, PBC had the free fights on Fox. And they pivoted that or leveraged that to go to Showtime. But in Showtime, that's where they got greedy. They try to sell all of these fighters as superstars to Showtime. And they were not superstars. They were stars, but not at the level that they sold them to Showtime. Finessed the shit out of Showtime. And Showtime ended up losing a lot of money. So while the PBC fan base, that's why a lot of people was mad at me. While the PBC fan base was celebrating, look, our fighters make the most money. We're putting butts in seats. They didn't even know that their fighters were running Showtime into the ground and that they was being overpaid. There you have it. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Giovanni Walker, the only boxing promoter that is relevant is Turkey. Nah, I don't know what you're talking about, man. There's a lot of relevant promoters right now. That's an exaggeration, my guy. JJ's in their house. Handshake don't mean anything anymore like it used to. It's not just that it don't mean anything anymore like it used to. It's that now there's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of, you're talking about a big complex business that is boxing. So you do everything on a handshake. Before you know it, there's royalties that we didn't talk about. There's a little extra money over there that we didn't talk about. Now we're having a misunderstanding. So at the end of the day, it's, they're operating at way too high of a level to be doing shit off of a handshake. At that level, if anybody tell you, nah, we don't need paperwork, we do a handshake, they trying to jerk you. That's the only explanation for that. They trying to take your money. Which, by the way, Al Heyman been accused of doing little funny things with fighters' money. Talk about, I'm going to hold your money for you and I'm going to give it to you little by little. Remember, Adrian Broner was complaining about that. John Parham, Superman, I got 2 pairs of Air Max for $79. That was $160 and 3 pairs of Dunks. Ooh, getting it cheap out there. 30 likes, my peoples. We got to 30 likes. Here we go. Superman, yeah, he got slumped. Damn, yo. And it's even worse to get slumped after all the trash talking. You trash talk like that just to get slumped? Bro, come on. Come on, my peoples. Edgar Berlanga, like I told you, man, I'm sorry to say this, but in my opinion, and I feel confident saying it, Edgar Berlanga is the pure definition of a hype job. He's not as good as he says he is. He's not as good as he believes he is, because he believes it. Superman. Yes, that's some good breakfast to slander Berlanga. I mean, yo, I mean, I look, saying that Berlanga is a hype job is no slander. That's just the truth. It's the truth. John Parham, notice Fat Joe didn't stick around. I mean, damn, yo. Now, I think Fat Joe said, yo, let me get out of here because I don't want people to say, we're not going to do lean back no more to enter the fights. We don't want to get linked. Edgar Berlanga got linked forward. Gabriel Perot, I almost went 1,500. Puello me sacó del parlay. Damn, B. And I felt like Puello won that fight. It was a close fight. Went the other way. Like I said, congratulations to Subriel Matias, man. Did what he had to do for the judges to give him the W. Carl Lubrin, Pitbull fight will be a good card to watch. Next week, my people. Next week, we got some good boxing. But it's like I said, man, this weekend, the women showed out, gave us a great night of boxing on Friday, and then the men did what they had to do on Saturday. Shakur Stevenson left the haters in shambles. Superman, I'm slandering him. Smith, he talked too much trash. I mean, he did, and I understand. I'm already seeing endless Edgar Berlanga memes. You talk all that trash just to get knocked out, pummeled, brutally. Giovanni Walker, the $1 trillion budget that Turkey has is what I'm talking about. Whoa. I mean, Turkey, he got the budget. Let's see what's gonna happen with that TKO promotion with Turkey and Dana White. Because we haven't been hearing about it, my peoples. What happened? When they announced it, it was like a whole week. That Ring Magazine that now belongs to Turkey, Ring Magazine was talking about it. Everybody talking about the new Turkey League and the new Turkey belt and all. What happened? I haven't heard of it since. So let's see what that Turkey money gonna do for that new league. Gabriel Pujoy, Puello versus Matias rematch. They should do a rematch, but they already brought somebody to the ring that they're saying is gonna fight Subriel Matias next. They already have somebody lined up, which is nasty work. Like, yo, Puello is the champion, the reigning champion. Y'all didn't even give him a rematch clause. That's nasty work. Y'all didn't even give him a rematch clause. And now, in a fight that he should have won, or at least in my opinion, he won't even be able to get his get back. So I thought that was nasty work, but hey, Superman, super hype job. The only real fights he were in, I did the nasty stuff, like the bite. Listen, Edgar Berlanga, I was showing his resume. His resume is not all that. You can tell, if you see his resume, you'll see that, okay, he's a guy who beat the average Joes. He'll beat the regular guys, and when he move up to fight the big dogs, he's going to get beat up. John Parham, rumor has it Berlanga was seen on a highway in a 2000 Nissan Altima headed to Idaho. I mean, when you spend 2 months talking about you the king of New York, and you're going to show out in New York, and the big stars are coming to see you, it's gonna be a tough week for Berlanga, a tough month. And of course, my people, because look, as boxing fans, we joking around, we having a good time. But that beating, that pummeling that Berlanga took, I promise you, man, the headaches that he's dealing with right now is brutal. So as far as his physical, I hope that Edgar Berlanga gets well real soon. I know that he's in a lot of pain. Trust me, my people. The level of pain that he's going through, I can't even describe it for you. So I hope that physical pain, he gets past it real soon. But he's still getting roasted. You got pummeled. You got cooked after all that trash talking. So I hope you feel better. But we're going to give you this shit. Giovanni Walker, Berlanga was living off of his last 16 rounds. Knockout. Yo, that's the thing. If you look at Berlanga's resume, the first fights of his career, they were all by knockout. But it was cherry-picked opponents. People we don't know, we never heard of. Come on now. And he had like 4 fights in a row where he went the distance, that he was in dog fights versus average Joes. I was like, yo, when he get to the elite, they're going to beat him up. That's exactly what happened. I had a feeling that feeling was on the money about Berlanga. JJ's in the house. Fuck that, John. I don't want him in Twin Falls, Idaho. Damn, poor Berlanga, man. He's gonna have to hear it all week. I'm still waiting to hear John Parham. I'm still waiting to hear from Berlanga. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard for him. I think he spoke already. I think he was interviewed. I'm gonna look that up. All that, man. All that talking, only to get absolutely pummeled. That's the way the cookie crumbles, man. They humbled him down. Ooh, Isaiah Pete has entered the super chat. Isaiah Pete, I appreciate you, my brother. Bam, you already know, man. I know that $5 is not, it's not gonna make you poorer. It's not gonna make me richer, but it shows that you appreciate what I'm doing out here, my brother. Really appreciate you. What you got for me, Isaiah P? I don't see anyone beating Caballero, Shakur. Bam. I admit, I'm a Haney hater. I don't see fighting someone as dangerous as Norman. So I will say Caballero has a little bit more proving, in my opinion. He got to prove himself a little bit more. But he a dangerous fighter. I already know that beating... I don't see him losing right now, but still, I'm not saying that he's going to beat the top dogs in the division. But I consider Caballero a dark horse. We don't know what he can do yet. We haven't seen him fight one of these guys that's really going to test him. Shakur, I don't see nobody beating him. Nobody beats Shakur. It's just not happening. You see, we saw on Saturday why Tank Davis don't want to fight him. He knows that he's going to get Zepeda'd. That's why. And Bam, very special fighter. I think the only person who potentially could beat Bam is Naoya Inoue. I think that them two are going to end up meeting within the next couple of years. And that's a very good fight. As far as Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr., my brother, I got to say, I give all the respect in the world to Devin Haney. Because we have to acknowledge, he could have fought, he's a big star. He could pick an opponent. He could have picked a way easier opponent. You're going after Brian, the assassin, Norman Jr., after the explosive knockout that he just had? You choose to go after that title? Devin Haney, he got heart. He's a world champion that represent and that is really looking to make history out there. Much respect to Devin Haney. John Parham, I haven't seen one yet, but could have missed it. I thought that there was a video out there. Damn, Edgar Berlanga's gonna go into hiding for a bit. I hope he don't go into hiding for as long as Errol Spence. Superman, this guy all the ears out on her hands and feet. Damn, I couldn't read none of what you just said right there, Superman. This guy, all the ears out on her hands and feet. Superman, you already know. MRVV, the optics don't look good for this. Canelo with Berlanga getting beat on... Nah, my brother, what you just said, MRVV, that's not accurate. And I'm going to tell you why that's not accurate. And it's not a fair comparison. We all know that Berlanga didn't fight Canelo the way that he fought Shiraz. We all know that Berlanga. In fact, I said it. You could go back. There's receipts. Berlanga fought Canelo to survive. He fought to survive that fight. That's why he went the distance. If he would have stood there and banged with Canelo, he would have got knocked out too. Not only that, MRVV, to show you that narrative or that perception is incorrect, what you just said, was there a single moment in that fight where Berlanga looked like he was even trying to beat Canelo? Was there a moment where he was like, oh my God, he might beat Canelo? Canelo completely dominated, pitched a shutout, won 12 rounds to 0. So what optics are we talking about that it doesn't look good for Canelo? Nah, that's a fake narrative that people trying to put out there. Berlanga wasn't trying to beat Canelo. He was trying to survive. That's just like me telling you, the optics doesn't look good for Canelo when he couldn't hurt William scored. But we know that William score wasn't even there to fight. How was Canelo gonna hurt him or stop him when this guy was just moving around? So styles make fights, and that's what it's really about. We can't look for another fight and another fighter to say, oh, well, look what happened over there. That's going to have an impact on what's going to happen over here. Not really, my people. Superman. We know the true story. As long as Errol Spence, I'm saying, Errol Spence is going on 2 years out of boxing. Crawford damn near retired him. So I hope that Berlanga is going to be able to come back sooner. I think he's going to be out for a little while. You know, he was embarrassed pretty bad, humiliated, just pummeled. And I know that it's going to be hard for Berlanga to show his face and ask questions and answer questions about that beating, because it was a beating. Superman, from the person we know, Haney didn't want this fight. It was supposed to say he got hands and feet put on him. Skull did what he was told to do. I mean, look, Skull was out there to survive. He was out there to make it the distance, to get the moral victory, to say, look, I went 12 rounds versus Canelo. Look, Skull, Berlanga, and Charlo, all three of them fought to survive. They did not fight to win. They didn't fight to win. MRVV, you're right slightly, but Canelo could have cut the ring off and got him out of there too. The optics don't look good with Skull, because as pressure fighter, Canelo can't cut the ring off. I mean, it wasn't a good looking fight, but he won. He won. But you cannot compare that fight, because you know, MRVV, that Crawford is not going to be running around for 12 rounds. So if Crawford is not going to fight like that, it's irrelevant to bring that fight up. The fight with Crawford is... I think we both know that the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is not going to play out nowhere near Canelo Alvarez versus William Skull. It's not going to play out that way. Isaiah P. I agree with you. Taking the fight was a shock for me. If Haney beats Norman, I'll be a fan. I mean, I'm already a fan of Devin Haney. Can he beat Norman? We'll find out. I think he has the skills to box him. Can he, hold him back for 12 rounds? I don't know. Brian Norman Jr., he's relentless. He can apply that pressure. He got that power. I don't know. Tarzan Rose, Shakur showed he is levels above Haney and Tank. He showed it. He showed why Tank Davis don't want to fight him. They know they all going to get Zepeda. MRVV, they all did fight to survive. That's what I'm saying, my brother. When a fighter is fighting to survive, it's real hard to stop them, and it's real hard to look good against them, because they're fighting to survive. Tarzan Ropes and Terence Crawford is not going to fight Canelo to survive. They're going to engage. That's what I'm saying. William Skull, that's irrelevant. Canelo's not going to have to chase Crawford around. Tarzan Ropes, Canelo's footwork is mid. Yeah, that's his weakness. We all know that's his weakness. And that's why he couldn't keep up with William Skull, and he was just chasing him around all night. JJ's in that Skull was in a fucking track meet. I agree. Skull made it a snooze fest. MRVV, Crawford will move like Laura did, but be more active. The movement will bother Saul. Now, he's not going to move as much as Laura. He's not. He is going to move, and throughout the fight strategically, you're going to see the footwork. But Crawford is going to stand in front of Canelo a lot more than people think. He's going to stand right there in close quarters, make him miss, make him pay. High guard to the body, to the head. He's going to exchange with Canelo a lot more than people think. It's going to be like the whole Shakur Stevenson. They're going to start reliving the whole Shakur Stevenson-William Zepeda fight again, where they thought Shakur Stevenson was going to run the whole fight, and had to watch Shakur Stevenson showing out. Brandon, yo, coach, you think Crawford can win that fight? I got him beating Canelo by unanimous decision. Unanimous decision. I don't got him watching him. Don't get it twisted. I see a tough, competitive fight. They are going to go back and forth. Canelo is going to have his moments. But I feel like Crawford's reach and height advantages are being underestimated by the naysayers. They're not understanding the significance of what he's able to do, at his level. Even though we already saw Dimitri Bivol completely dominate Canelo Alvarez with his reach advantage. I want you guys to consider this. Canelo Alvarez, bread and butter, is the left hook to the body. Y'all all know this. We all know this. That's fairly well known. The left hook to the body, he's going to slow you down, break you down, and then he's going to go to the melon. Great. If you watch the fight versus Dimitri Bivol, he landed left hooks to the body that landed flush to the body. In the whole fight, maybe like 4 or 5 of those. Maybe like 4 or 5. The consistent body attack just wasn't there for him. You know why, my peoples? Because Bivol used that reach and he capped Canelo at the end of that jab. So whenever Canelo closed the gap, you saw Bivol pop, 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 pop. Then again put him at the end of that jab. Canelo closed the gap again. Pop, 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 pop. So the things that Canelo does, Bivol was able to take it away from him and made him look bad. You guys know, Bivol was out there looking like Canelo was out there looking like an amateur. That footwork, that jab, that reach. So I'm telling you, Terence Crawford has a longer reach than Dimitri Bivol. You think that a guy who's been operating at that level like Terence Crawford didn't study tape already? Didn't see the blueprint of how guys beat Canelo Alvarez? Doesn't already know I'm going to be the guy with the better footwork in the ring? Come on now. Miguel Rodriguez, Haney is not good, bro. No power, no nuts. I don't know why you're saying that. You see, the part of no power is true. But there's been a lot of great fighters with no power. I don't know why you think that a fighter has to have power to be good. And then you say no nuts. How are you saying that? He's going after Brian Norman Jr., the assassin. He's going after the guy who Boots chose not to fight. He's going after the guy who's calling out Boots at the welterweight division. If anything, Haney's nuts are too big, bro. Devin Haney got 2 watermelons hanging below his kizak. Huge. MRVV, appreciate your channel, bro, and your neutral approach. I'm out, but I'm locked in. MRVV, I appreciate you, my G. Salute. Have a good day, my brother. JJ's in their house. Norman will cut off the ring against Haney. I mean, he's going to make him fight. It's going to be like Vasyl Lomachenko. Haney will move, will use the footwork, but if you force him, he's going to fight. He's going to fight back. Gabriel Pujroy, Haney is real. He's fighting a very dangerous opponent. Norman is a beast. Come on, my peoples. I don't know how can someone question Devin Haney's heart. You saw how he kept getting up versus Ryan Garcia. You know how many fighters would have got knocked down from that left hook Ryan Garcia got and would have stayed down? Devin Haney kept getting up and went the distance. He got a lot of heart, my people. Don't question that part. Come on now. LT Phipps, Floyd Schofield dad called out Shakur. What do you think? You know, I think that fight could be made. Floyd Schofield, his stock skyrocketed after that last fight. The way that he put the beats on Tevin Farmer, I think Shakur can consider giving him a shot. KDR, more like Shakur versus Valdez. My brother, that's why I love saying it on here, because that's a receipt. I told people that Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda was going to be Oscar Valdez 2.0. Do you believe me now? Mahim Ramroop, Crawford will defeat Canelo. No questions about it. That's why he is undefeated. I agree with you 100%. I got Terence Crawford beating Canelo in a very tough, competitive fight. Don't get it twisted. I'm not just saying Crawford is going to step out there and just beat Canelo up. It's going to be a tough fight. I got him winning a tough unanimous decision. JM, I dig Subriel, and I like to see him get some bigger opportunities. Subriel Matias versus Gary Antoine Russell. That's the next fight to me. But they already got somebody that they want him to fight. But I wish he could have fought Gary Antoine Russell, because that would have been a unification fight. And, of course, a slugfest. That would have been a heck of a fight. Pierre-Oliver Dallier, what do you think of Schofield versus Zepeda? That's a good fight to make. That's a good fight to make for Schofield. In fact, if Shakur could say, yo, if you can beat Zepeda, I'll give you a shot. But honestly, I think Schofield, with his last performance, he could get an opportunity to fight Shakur. Real talk. JJ Sendejas, Crawford height, reach, and footwork. People going to find out what the height, reach, and footwork really mean. I mean, did y'all see what Hamza Shiraz's reach did to Berlanga? Beat him up from across the ring, my peoples. Just straight up beat him up from across the ring. So I said it before, and I'll say it again. People are, hold on. Make sure we document it. We got receipts, my people. I said it before, and I'll say it again. People are underestimating the significance of Terence Crawford's reach over Canelo Alvarez. Did you see what Hamza Shiraz did with his reach to Edgar Berlanga? Absolutely battered him. Pummeled him. So, I'm not telling you that Crawford is going to pummel Canelo Alvarez, but I'm just telling you that that reach advantage is going to be in full display on September 13th. Don't wait till you see it to understand it. I'm telling you it's going down. That's all I'm saying. Whoa. My brother, Isaiah P, showing the super chat vibes. I appreciate you, my G. You already know. You already did this today. But for whatever reason, you decided that you want to do it again. You want to jump in the super chat for your boy Jay Smith. Salute. What you got to say for me? Shakur has always been better than Haney. Shakur total package. Haney has a jab. Tank still has the equalizer, so it's going to be an amazing fight. Again, I agree with you. Shakur has always been the better boxer. We could look at when they sparred, when they were a lot younger. Obviously, we saw Devin Haney ducking Shakur. He ducked, my people. There's really no getting around it. He ducked. I can't believe that today people still try to sell the narrative that Shakur is the one who ducked. When we saw that he was the mandatory, he pursued it by enforcing it. They were going to purse bid, and right before they went to purse bid, Devin Haney announced that he was leaving the division, going to 140, dropping the titles. So he ducked Shakur Stevenson. I think we know that Devin and his father knows that they'll lose to Shakur. They know. They know what's good. Tank, with his power being the equalizer, I agree with you. I understand. I got Shakur beating Tank, but I also understand that perspective, because it's not just that Tank Davis got power, his footwork, his speed, his ring IQ, his counter-punching abilities. Tank has a lot in his bag of tools. I simply feel like Shakur is so special that he'll be able to offset the thing that Tank Davis does to outbox him and beat him. Lucy Rosales, fighting tall for Crawford is a mistake. I mean, I think it's going to depend. You know that Crawford is the type of fighter who knows how to make adjustments, and we're gonna see it in this fight. We're gonna see him as a southpaw. We're gonna see him as an orthodox fighter. I'm not sure exactly what's gonna be the approach as far as fighting tall or not, but let me tell you something. The height difference between Crawford and Canelo is not much. It's the reach difference where we're gonna see it. Just like that's what I'm saying. The same way Dimitri Bivol was able to use that reach to take away Canelo's best weapons, we're gonna see Crawford do that as well, successfully. Justin May, the rapper. Damn, if you can do that for me, please, I would really appreciate it. Thanks. Shaggy, happy Monday, my G. Salute, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. What a weekend of boxing. Yes. JJ's in there. Hamza Shiraz has that Thomas Hearns body frame. Bro, Hamza has the Thomas the Hitman Hearns body frame and the aggressiveness. The yo, he looks like Tommy Hearns out there. He looks like Thomas the Hitman Hearns. JJ's in the house. Crawford is going to fight to win, not to survive. Been trying to tell people that. It's like we've seen most of Terence Crawford's career on TV. How could we never have seen him running, yet think or say that he's going to run? How could that possibly even make sense? Rodney, Isaiah, do you really hate a person because of their God-given attribute like reach? The Haney hate needs to be studied for. The Haney hate needs to be studied. Look, I'm going to say this, Rodney. I understand it, the Haney hate, but I don't agree with it. And here's why. Devin Haney's a fighter who has had, many fights where there's a lot of footwork, not a lot of action. He's not known for his power. He's not knocking guys out or dropping them in most cases. So I think people simply don't like his style of fighting. I think Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson are in the same boat. Of course, after yesterday's fight, some people will start giving Shakur that respect again. But Devin Haney and Shakur, they both have a style where they don't have the same style. If you watch them, they fight very differently. But they have a style where they don't have a lot of knockout power. They're not knocking guys out. And a knockout is like the home run in baseball. People want to see the home run. That's the highlight. People want to see the slam dunk in basketball. That's the highlight. They want to see the knockout in boxing. So Devin Haney and Shakur not being power punchers, people hate on them for that. And they don't even realize that power is just one aspect. If you don't got power and you can go undefeated for a very long time, win titles and do a lot, that means you're a great boxer. Because the person in front of you knows you're not going to knock him out and you still beating him. You got hands. Rodney. Oh, no. Gabriel Puroy. Mano, after seeing Berlanga versus Shiraz, entiendo que el caballo bronco is dangerous. No, I've been saying that. El caballo bronco is a fighter who a lot of people have avoided. And they've been able to avoid him because he's not that famous. So when you're not that famous, people say, nah, who he fought or who he beat. And he's beat some real good competition. But, he's not famous like that. He doesn't have that name recognition. So it's easier for people to avoid him. But El Caballo Adames, my boy, he a problem. He a problem. Shiraz was gifted that draw. Adames beat him. But I will say, there's another point of view that we wasn't considering. Hamza Shiraz was under pressure to perform because his last fight, that a lot of people felt that he was gifted a draw. He knows that people felt that way. That information got to him. He probably felt like, damn, yeah, I got gifted a draw deep down inside. So there was pressure. to go up on Saturday and do something spectacular. His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh sitting right there ringside, watching. After he saved you in that last fight and helped you get that draw. You saw how it happened. Hamza Shiraz showed out. That was a spectacular knockout, my people. Edgar Berlanga, you know, he wanted to keep it real. But Hamza Shiraz kept it realer. My peoples, I'm about to end this edition of Boxing for Breakfast. But before I do, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in. I really appreciate you guys. JJ Sendejas, Gabriel Puroy, Rodney, my brother Shaggy in the building. What's up? Justin May the Reaper. What's the deal, my G? JM. Peace out, JM. See that JM is going to work? That means JM tuned in on the way to work to enjoy the show. That's what Boxing for Breakfast is all about. Cow 27, salute. Isaiah P, LP Phillip, Miguel Rodriguez, Jamal James, Brian Crane. Let me see who else. Isaiah P. Damn, Isaiah P. Hold on, Isaiah P. I got to get you in the building, man. You've been showing too much love. Boom, Isaiah P. Welcome to the family, Isaiah P. I really appreciate you. Pierre Oliver, always showing up. KDR, LT Phillips. Yo, everybody who tuned in today, my peoples. Y'all know what it is, man. I'm Jay Smith. I do this for the love of the sweet science, for the love of boxing. On Lace, the unofficial technical support, illegal stream advisor of the Box Center family. I appreciate you, my G. Y'all already know it, man. This is Boxing for Breakfast, where all of you got your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning, my peoples. I'm going to see you later tonight. We're going to be live. We're going to do what we got to do. And you know it, on Lace. You already got your spot officially. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, my people. Next Boxing for Breakfast is going to be just as good as this one, if not better. We only getting hotter, my peoples. I appreciate the love, man. I really appreciate how you guys are showing out. We out of here, my peoples. Now I got to get my breakfast. Peace.